The countdown is on. Exactly 20 days to the inauguration of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Someone was asking me earlier that when he becomes president, what do you call him? Do you call him President Asiwaju? Well, probably President Tinubu. He might be dropping that other title. Thanks for joining us on the program. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Remember, you can join this conversation live on Twitter if you use the hashtag Inauguration Day. So after a series of meetings and consultations, the National Working Committee of the APC has now announced its zoning arrangement for the position of the President of the Senate and Speaker of the House of Representatives of the 10th National Assembly to the South-South and the Northwest, respectively. Senator Godswill Akpabio from Akwa Ibom State is being tipped for the President of the Senate, while we have Senator Barau Jibrin from Kano State, who is tipped as his deputy. In the House of Representatives, the names are Tajuddin Abbas from Kaduna as Speaker, Benjamin Kalu from Abia as Deputy Speaker. We have details of this in this report.
The much-awaited zoning for the 10th National Assembly is out. Before now, the several aspirants for principal positions have lobbied and made consultations across the country. While others made cases for different regions, others believe it should be thrown open. The list released by the party, they also say, confirms the stance of the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The party not only zoned the positions, but also came up with a consensus list.
Of the meetings held between the President-elect and the leadership of the NWC. The NWC called for further and better consultation with necessary stakeholders in order to assure the support of the aspirants to the National Assembly leadership positions and members of the party nationwide. The zoning arrangement reported to the NWC is as follows. Senate, 1. Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, Kaduna. For Deputy Speaker, Southeast, Honorable Ben Kalu, Abia. We urge our party leaders, members, and all Nigerians to continue to work for the peace and progress of our country during and beyond the current period of leadership transition. Signed.
It is expected that all party members will conform with the party's position. June 13 is tentatively the inauguration day after the presidential proclamation. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
So the party did not only zone this position, it went ahead to come up with a consensus list. And despite all of this, the Chairman House Committee on Appropriation, Aliyu Betara from Borno State, has defied the position of the APC, declaring for the position of the Speaker. You also heard Abdulmumin Jibrin, a representative elected on the platform of the NNPP, boasting that the minority parties will determine the Speaker amongst the APC candidates without necessarily supporting the anointed candidate. With Aliyu Betara's declaration for the speakership position and other similar developments in the Senate, are we likely to see a repeat of 2015 when Bukola Saraki and Yakubu Dogara outsmarted the APC, emerging President of the Senate and Speaker of the House of Representatives? Has the party learned from its mistakes? And does the APC really have what it takes to win these positions for its anointed candidates? That's the question we're asking tonight. Well, let's quickly take a look at what the figures are. In the Senate, the 10th National Assembly, APC has majority of senators-elect with some 51 seats. That's 9 short of what they had in 2019. PDP now has 27 seats. Labour Party has 7. The New Nigeria People's Party has 3. And Social Democratic Party, SDP, has 2. The Young Progressives Party, YPP, and the APGA have 1 seat each. And in the House of Representatives, APC holds, not a solid majority, has 175 seats. In 2019, the number was way higher than that. They had 202 and I think 212 in 2015. PDP has won 118 seats. Labour Party this time, perhaps for the first time in the history of the party, has 35 seats. And the NNPP has 19, APGA has 5, SDP and ADC have 2 seats each, and the YPP has a single seat with 3 seats still pending. The opposition parties in the 10th House of Representatives has now risen to about 182. That's 1 vote more than the statutory benchmark, 181 votes required to elect a speaker. So are we going to see a situation where the minority will decide who the next speaker is? When I return after this break, I'll be joined by someone who should know. He's a 2-term member of the House of Representatives, and he saw it through 2011 and 2019 with the drama with Tambua and, of course, Dogara. Stay with us. Now, by former lawmaker who represented the Jebu Central Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives between 2011 and 2019, Honorable Kende Odeneye, thank you for joining us on the program.
It's my pleasure.
Interesting days ahead. Your party has won, but now it has other battles to face. Let's begin with your thoughts on the zoning.
Yeah.
Senator Godswill Akpabio, Senate President, Barao Jibrin rather, is deputy, and the APC is proposing Abbas Tajuddin and Benjamin Kalu for the House of Reps. What do you make of these individuals?
Yeah, let's put it this way. The senators and the House of Rep members that the party has actually put forward are very, very fantastic individuals. But I have a reservation. I know quite well that the party is trying to prevent what actually happened in 2015, both in the Senate and at the House, although it was more pronounced in the Senate then. But the issue is this. The question is, has the party actually met with all its members, both at the Senate and the reps?
Before arriving at this
decision? No. Because if they had met with them, every agitations would have been taken care of before arriving at a decision as to where do we zone to. It is important that the party has to zone, just to ensure that all the zones in the federation are represented.
Was that the case here? Because I'm just wondering, what do you think the party was thinking? Because there's no North Central did not feature here, and then we have like 2 candidates from the Northwest.
I was also surprised seeing that. Because whether we like it or not, APC won had votes in all the zones, though some zones produce more votes than the other. But when we're talking about inclusiveness and you want to carry everybody along, I feel strongly that every zone should have been represented. However, I want to believe that the party must have taken some things into consideration before arriving at that decision. But the major snag there is that did the party meet with the aspirants and their members as a whole?
So there's a part of the letter where the NWC was calling for further and better consultation with the necessary stakeholders. Perhaps that is going to happen after.
Yeah, I think they should have done that
before the announcement.
Because yes, they wanted to prevent what happened, most especially at the Senate in 2015. But if care is not taken, we might be having a bigger problem, most especially in the House.
We'll get there.
In the House.
Let's talk about the person the party wants to emerge as Senate president. Godswill Akpabio,
Yeah.
was in the Senate, I think, 2015 to 2019.
Yes.
And then he's returning, former governor, former chairman of the NDDC. Some say he's a full-grown politician. What do you think he's bringing to the table, and what gives him a better chance ahead of others?
See, being a former governor who has also been in the Senate even before now, I think he has all it takes to also promote better governance with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president. And again, if you look at his performance when he was the governor of Akwa Ibom State, I think he really performed very well. However,
We're not talking about his performance during
even at the
2023 election.
No, in 2023 election.
For the APC.
No, in 2023 election, if you look at Akwa Ibom, compared to what we have in the southeast, you will realize that South produced more votes for the APC, far better than southeast. And one fantastic happening then was that how could one describe where a senator won his elections with so much massive votes, and the president elect now in the same party
At a very
minute. So looking at that, you realize that yes, it's not impossible that such situations were taken into consideration. However, if you look at what we have in House of Rep, proposing Kalu as the deputy speaker, it has effectively taken care of former governor Uzo Kalu also wanting to be the Senate president. The guy in House of Rep who is being proposed as the deputy speaker is also from Abia State. So Abia State cannot be the deputy speaker and at the same time take the Senate presidency. So invariably, and I think former governor Uzo Kalu has also seen the handwriting. That was why he said he has not been campaigning because of the loss of his wife.
But in that same letter, he was campaigning.
He said he hasn't dropped.
Yes.
He said he hasn't withdrawn.
Members of the National Working Committee.
Yeah.
And the 108 senators.
I guess that was before. That letter must have been before the decision of the announcement. Because if that announcement has been made, he wouldn't write that they should consider him. I think what he would have used is to say you should consider your earlier position.
If that is the case, let's talk about what happened after the announcement.
Yeah.
Mukhtar Betara went on live television to declare his intention to run, and he did not do it alone. He did it with perhaps all of the
even the aspirants,
major aspirants.
That's exactly why I said my fear is in the House of Rep and not in the Senate. Akpabio will win convincingly in Senate because I know that the sitting Senate president does not like that zoning, that confirmation of Akpabio. I am aware of that. And from what I have read so far, he does not want Akpabio. I guess there was something that happened when Akpabio was minister of Niger Delta. There was an issue on NDCC that he said some things about the senators, which I guess the Senate president has not forgiven him. I even read they went to his house. He went to his house with some of his supporters to beg him for his support. And he refused vehemently. And even had a meeting with Asiwaju where it was claimed in the press that he specifically told Asiwaju that Akpabio cannot emerge as the Senate president. But with the way things are now, and with the support that Akpabio is gathering in the Senate, I am very cocksure that Akpabio is going to win.
How much power does the outgoing Senate president wield in determining who emerges, as a principal officer?
Unfortunately, he has so much power as a sitting president of the Senate, but he does not have the conscience of the members. Everybody has his own conscience, and he has people that they determine to support. The Senate president cannot determine for anybody. You understand? So he has power as Senate president, but he does not hold the conscience of the members. And that is why it's going to be very difficult for him. And if his support is for Uzo Kalu, now that we have a proposal of someone in the House of Rep from that same state to become...
It pacifies senators from that part of the country.
So that means there's going to be an issue in his support. I'm sure he might want to take his support away from Uzo Kalu and give to another person. Unfortunately, not too many people have come out from, officially come out from Senate to declare interest, apart from Uzo Kalu and Akpabio, you understand? So, but let's leave Senate. Senate, we won't have the case of Saraki in Senate. We won't have that. Whatever it's going to take for APC to ensure that on that particular day of inauguration and election, everything goes smoothly, I'm sure that the party is going to do it. They won't make the same mistake they made in 2015. In 2015, while Saraki and Co were making their plans, there was a meeting at Transcorp.
Okay.
Yes, I think at Transcorp, yes. There was a meeting going on with members. Nobody does that during inauguration. When you know quite well that there was a problem, nobody will do that. In the House of Rep, we may likely have a shocker, unless I believe in the president-elect, and I'm very sure that he will have a look, most especially into the House of Rep.
Let's take a minute to just quickly analyze the figures from the way it is. If you look at the Senate, for instance, where the APC has 51 seats, and then followed by, I believe, the PDP with 27, Labour Party has 7, NNPP 3, SDP 2, YPP 1, and APGA has 1. Yeah. Now, in 2019, I believe that the APC had quite more than that, perhaps 60 or 60. Definitely. So the numbers are lesser 4 years after, and then followed by. And you
know, there was no NPP then. There was an NPP then, and
what determines, you know, how senators or lawmakers vote? There's what the party says. Yeah. You know, you referenced 2015. Yeah. Where what the party said did not matter. Yeah. As a matter of fact, both at the Senate and the House of Reps, the anointed candidates did not emerge. What do you think determines how lawmakers vote in this regard? Yeah,
you see, what I foresee here, if you look at the main contenders, you realize that Akpabio, even despite the fact that the party has written a letter confirming his, position as being the one being put forward as the Senate President position for the Senate President's position, he has not, he has not sat down. He's still consulting. And that is the game. You can't sit. For the mere fact that the party has said, even if the 57, which is not possible, the whole 57 of APC may not necessarily vote for Akpabio.
51, actually.
51. All of them may not necessarily vote for Akpabio. So I know quite well that part of the PDP will vote for him. The NNPP will vote for him. Even the Young Party will also vote. So he has not relied on the party alone, even with the fact that the party has put
to emerge. Now,
to emerge,
the candidate has to look beyond.
He has to look beyond his party, because he's not going to be governing his party alone. He's going to be the president of the Senate on all the senators, and he must carry all of them along. It is one thing for you to emerge as Senate president. It is another thing for you to be able to manage the National Assembly as a whole. You understand? So, usually, the outcome of this election affects the working of the National Assembly. If care is not taken, whatever is taken away from this election will affect the House for the rest of the 4 years, except we have a Senate President or the House Speaker that is firm, very friendly, and can reach out, even after the election, to all the members.
It's a different ballgame if we switch to the House of Representatives, where APC did not get the statutory 182 seats needed to, elect a speaker. Look at the figure. APC has 175, followed by PDP.
It's a very dicey situation.
When you put all of the figures of the opposition together, they had about 182, and then they are even now threatening that they can front their own candidate and decide who the speaker is.
No, it's just a mere threat. They are making that threat so that they could have negotiations. There's no way all the opposition party members could come together
decide
and
on
vote against APC or decide that they want to produce the...
Well, they can decide who emerges within the APC.
They can decide...
Not necessarily being the anointed candidate.
They can decide who emerges in APC. And that is why the party has to be careful. I was thinking that, especially in the House of Rep, the party should have met with, one, all the aspirants together. It is possible for the party to ensure that they all come together and pick one person. That would have been so beautiful that no other person will come against them. But in this case, you saw that when Betara declared, all other aspirants queued behind him. And they have agreed amongst themselves that at any point in time another person is making his declaration, other people will also be there. That is where I have my fear. Betara, no, let me come to Tajuddin Abbas. Tajuddin Abbas is a very good guy. We served together 2011 to 2015. He's a very fantastic guy, very knowledgeable, in the ethics and everything. But the problem I foresee is that even before the party announced, there has been, there was a time all the aspirants met with the current speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila,
yes,
to accuse him that he was flirting with Tajuddin Abbas, that they had that Tajuddin Abbas is his anointed candidate. Whether that was true then or not, it has come out now from the party's position. He denied, and he said he only wanted all of them to campaign very well and work together as a party and all sort of things, and they should not rock the boat. Yet, unfortunately, the situation we have at hand now is a big dicey. We have three groups. The Betara group is there. We have a group that calls itself Joint Tax Group. The Joint Tax Group is a very critical group. Fortunately, that group has said that they are going to support whoever APC gives the position to.
But there's the greater...
And there's also the one they call themselves greater opposition.
Yes.
And I said that no matter how greater they become, they can never all speak in one voice. And that's what makes, because even amongst them that they call the greater, part of them are inside the joint tax that is supporting. Look at River State, for instance. Everybody, all the PDP candidates, members, they are likely going to go with the joint tax that is supporting APC. But we must be careful.
So the inauguration of the 10th Assembly is coming up 1 week after May 29th.
Yeah.
I think June 6th, thereabout.
June 6th, thereabout, yeah.
Does the APC have enough time, and what must it do not to repeat the mistakes of 2015?
I think what the party needs to do, most especially the president-elect, who everybody sees as a father, I think he needs to call all the aspirants together. Everybody has stakes. You understand? So call them together, let them sit down together, assure them of his support, and whoever emerges, let that person pledges his let that person pledges his loyalty to every member of that house. You see, what everybody is fighting for is recognition. But another thing is that if you listen to some of the aspirants during Betara's declaration, they said the house must be left to determine its members, to determine its leadership, so that leadership will not be controlled. There's no party. A ruling party cannot fold its hands, not even when you have a greater opposition numbers. You can't fold your hands and leave.
But as your party fully understood the Saraki tactics of 2015?
That's why I said in Senate, it will be well taken care of. Okay. In the House of Representatives, I am very sure that Ashwaju would not fold his arms, because whoever emerges as Speaker and the Senate President must work hand in hand with the President of the Federation so that we can have the beautiful dividend of democracy.
It's a good place to leave it. You must miss all this political action, do you?
Definitely. I miss all the meetings. I miss all the meetings.
Are you planning to return to the National Assembly?
By God's grace, 2027.
Oh.
I plan to. I've missed a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes, I've missed a lot.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
It's my pleasure.
On the program today.
Thank you.
Honorable Kendi Odene, former lawmaker, who was a member of the House of Reps between 2011 and 2019. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
That's our program this evening. Thank you for being a part of it. The conversation continues on Twitter. Remember to use the hashtag Inauguration Day and also tag me at Nifemi Oguntoye. See you again tomorrow.